My camera's screwed up again, and I'm trying not to touch anything. I am literally trying not to touch anything because I got it propped up going one end, propped up going. I got Gary Reasons to Believe book under one side, and then I got another side of the book, another book on the other side. So I'm trying not. I'm not going to get aggravated today because this is Timmons New York Giants Straight Talk, brought to you by the mighty FanDuel. It's FanDuel.com, the number one sportsbook in America. Oh, we got so many things to talk about today. Let's give them something to talk about. We got to talk about the OBJ. We got to talk about OBJ returns to the circus, courtesy of Circus Line. The OBJ thing is a quandary wrapped in a riddle, because there's so many rumors and speculations about OBJ. It just kind of doesn't make sense. You have this continuity, you have this cohesiveness that you haven't seen the Giants have in an extended period of time. And then all of a sudden you're like, hey, I got a great idea. Let's bring in the guy that was the ultimate malcontent towards the end of his career. That makes sense, right? That makes sense. The OBJ thing is a 2-day process, and people need to understand. And this is what kind of irks me and gets me a little bit here. Hold on, let's see if my volume's working. Process. Okay, there we go. Here's the process. They had a workout yesterday. OBJ took a physical. They are going to have another workout today to see how he recovers from yesterday's workout. My problem with this is automatically, as a former player, as someone who's worked in the NFL, worked in the Arena Football League, there is a difference between running a tryout practice and actually the rigors of a mandatory minicamp, a voluntary minicamp. There is a huge difference. If you're running just a workout to get an opportunity to come into camp, you're not going to run the same drills. You are not going to have the same physicality as you do, such as a mandatory minicamp or training camp or game prep. So there's really no way to figure out through this process if OBJ is strong enough or capable enough to go through the rigors of a season. Now, more than likely, I don't know what Odell wants financially. The smart money is for a guy at his age, for a guy who really has not been a competitive NFL player really since 2023, where he only started 6 games. And that was a season. Also, don't forget, he didn't play in 22. He only played 9 games in 24, and he didn't play in 25. I'm not getting why you're going to bring in a 33-year-old wide receiver who will be 34 in November to ruin the continuity of your camp. And I love it because I see this already, and I saw this before. Charlie's right. This is the same guy that threw his quarterbacks under the bus. And it wasn't just Eli Manning. He has thrown multiple quarterbacks under the bus. So you kind of hope that he has mellowed. OBJ has mellowed within his career, towards the end of his career. Because he will be 34 November 2nd. But you hope he's mellowed. And I still have a picture of the catch right over there. You can't see it. It's in the corner right there from OBJ. I still have that photo. It's an autographed photo of the catch, which I got OBJ to sign. And he'll always be one of my favorite Giant wide receivers outside of Amani Toomer, outside of the stories of Homer Jones. He'll always be one of my favorite Giant wide receivers of all time. But that doesn't mean you need to have a reunion tour. That doesn't mean you need to bring in a guy who is, we already know if he's got his ring, so maybe he's mellowed. And when you all of a sudden get the 10th overall pick, your trade and draft philosophy and your free agent philosophy should change. And I think it's going to change. And it should change. Because now there is thoughts that the Giants go wide receiver at 10. And I've already said this before. If I look at this perspective, I looked at this from a perspective, and I kind of see where this is going. Can the Giants go wide receiver at 10? I don't know. Do they go? I don't think they go guard at 10. There's some speculation that they go with the kid from Penn State. I can't see you taking someone that's going to be your guard at 10. That just literally makes no fucking sense. So there are smarter people than I out there. And one thing that we kind of see with these smarter people is the fact that we took a little we took a compilation of multiple mock drafts, and we kind of figured out whom multiple people are taking. Who was the consensus pick? We took 11 mock drafts, and we had a consensus picks for the top 10, which I thought was interesting because it's just an interesting dichotomy. But where the Giants are at now after the Dexter Lawrence trade, everyone's general consensus is Mendoza is number one. I'm reading the list right now. Everyone's general consensus is Mendoza's one. The general consensus is that Arvell Reese goes to the Jets. Now, we took 11 mock drafts because we didn't want to have an even number. We didn't want to have ties. The third overall pick, which is the Arizona Cardinals, we have a consensus of David Bailey. Tennessee Titans, barring a trade, we have locked in on most drafts. I think it was 80% of the drafts is Jeremiah Love. One of the highest numbers in regards to this short, small sample of a poll was 90% had mapped the likes of Sonny Styles still going to 5 at the Giants. Now, what I found surprising is you have Cleveland not going offensive linemen, but it was by a very small, minute number. They go Carnell Tate. And then another general consensus, make sure you're hitting the like button, another general consensus out of these 11 mock drafts, and these are 11 mock drafts we've taken from Pro Football Focus, from ESPN. So these are people that do this for a living. General consensus at 7, but it was a majority at 50, a little over 50%. So it's at like 60%, we'll say, was Caleb Downs to Washington. We have 8. They're going to go Reuben Baines. We have the general consensus is Miami taking Kansas City taking Miami, Francis out of Miami. And now the new mock drafts at 10. Not that it was surprising to me, but we had almost 90% of the mock drafters going Sonny Styles at 5. But nearly 80% of the mock drafters that we polled, and like I said, we only pulled 11 right now, 80% of them are going Jordan Tyson at 10. I don't agree with it. And like I said, I don't know if it's going to happen because I think the Giants can go multitudes of directions, but I can't take a guy that's always hurt. I can't take a guy that, he is a guy, like I've said, Jordan Tyson without the injuries to me is the best wide receiver in this draft. Without the injuries. He's athletic. He's a playmaker. He would go right along. He would be, like I said, we've said it before. There would be Malik Neighbors 1A. You would have Jordan Tyson 1B. But I find it interesting that these polls these mock drafts are just starting to come out. And I look at it, and like I said, you now the consensus pick, the highest consensus pick was Sonny Styles going 5 to the Giants. The next highest consensus pick out of the top 10 was Tyson Jordan going to the Giants. I don't know. That's a little It's a little interesting. I do find also what was very interesting was that that OBJ had a private workout. This wasn't an open workout. This wasn't a workout, that other people were invited. I need some water here because I was working out. This wasn't a workout where other people were invited. This was a private workout. So this is going to be a 2-day process. Do I think anything happens with OBJ before the draft? No. I do not think that. I do not think that at all. Joe, I told you noon. Told you noon hour. Joe, I can't be. You're in the chat. I can't be answering messages in the chat. I'm professional, damn it. Professional. As I'm reading my email. As I'm reading my emails, because I'm waiting for an email. It's actually kind of fucking funny. It's actually kind of funny. I got a guest confirmed, and then another guest that someone I haven't talked to in a while. After this first guest got confirmed this morning, then I got a text message from another person, like out of the blue, and I'm like, "The fuck is this?" I know who it was, but I was like, "Why is he texting me?" I don't know. It's just another day. It's just another Pleasant Valley Sunday here in status symbol land. The OBJ thing just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. We've talked about it. It just from a football perspective, it makes zero sense. From a nostalgic perspective, it still makes zero sense. I mean, and if he had anything left in the tank, it would have been in 21. And I keep trying to explain people this yesterday, and I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news, but if you go back to 22, we do very simple math. He did not play the entire 22 season. He did not play the entire 25 season. So from 22 to 25, he has played in a total of 23 games and started 6. So in 4 years, he has played in 23 games. In 4 years, he has played in 23 games and started 6. I'm not the mathematician that some people are, but last time I checked, if you have a 17-game schedule and you play and you have a 17-game schedule, I'm sorry, and you go over 4 seasons, that's 68 games. So in a total of 68 games, he's played in 24. I don't see him as a mentor. I don't see him as a guy that's going to take Malik Neighbors under his wing. I don't see that. I don't see that I don't see him being proficient at 34 years old as a wide receiver. I don't see him being a slot. He's not going to return kicks. So he's going to be your 4th or 5th wide receiver who doesn't play special teams. It's a great story. If you go down to the nostalgia path, it's a great story. It's awesome. But I can't sit there and tell you, taking a look at the Giants salary cap situation, taking a look at the rookie draft pool. We've talked ad nauseum about the rookie draft pool, but our rookie draft pool has changed a little bit. That's the wrong stat. Where's our rookie draft pool? There we go. There's our new rookie draft pool when we factor in 5 and 10. So the bottom money is the total money required at 20 million, almost 21 million. If every pick makes it, the other column, which is the 16.5, is also the money, the guaranteed money you need to have if every player on the draft makes it. Not on the practice squad, not on anything else. That's what that is. Now, with the rule of 51, the Giants currently have with the Rule 51, the Giants currently have $18 million. So if we take a look at this, if we currently have 18, if every pick makes it, the guaranteed money we need to have when camp breaks at the end of August is $16.5 million. Now, your first 3 contracts are guaranteed. And then you have less guaranteed money for, from 4 or 5 and all your multiple 6s. But you still have $18 million in current cap space up against a potential cap hit of $16 million. Also, the fact that you want to probably bring in DJ Reader, you're probably going to make some other moves. But that's what we have to look at right now. So the only viable contract that I could see, and it would be the only smart contract for OBJ, would be to bring him in at a veteran minimum deal with just like $1.5 million, non-guaranteed, and allow him to and just basically see what he can do. That would be my thought. That would be my only thought process to OBJ, but I don't see any intrinsic value of bringing this guy back. I don't. Now we're talking, you bring in DJ Reader, which I think the Giants are definitely going to do now. I still think they're going to grab a tackle in this draft. We're going to talk about 5 and 10 again. But you bring in DJ Reader, not bringing in DJ Reader to after June 6th, after the June. He's going to be a post-June signing because of the compensatory pick, more than likely. So we're still probably going to bring in DJ. You're going to find some defensive tackles, but you have to remember the fact that our rookie draft pool went up by $5.5 million when we got the 10th overall pick. Now you still have a general savings from Dexter Lawrence, but don't forget, because Dexter Lawrence was it was a pre-June 1st trade, we're still going to have a dead cap number of $13.9 million for him. And then we'll also have a dead cap number of $6 million, which makes me laugh a little bit because we were saying about Kevin Abrams at times, but you take a look at some of the things that we've done. Now we have to clean house. You got a $13.9 million dead cap number for him, a $5.4 million for Bobby Okereke, James Hudson. Thanks, Joe. $2.3 million in dead. You got Gilliam as 2.1 in dead. Gano's 1.2. Chris Board is 1.2. And then you got the likes of Corey Black, Trey Hawkins have all been released, which is 708,000, 300,000, 300,000. It's the big, you literally have right now with the Dexter Lawrence trade, with the release of Bobby Okereke, with the release of James Hudson, you have 9% of your cap space right now tied up into dead cap money. Actually, look, you probably have about 10% because you have a lot of other contracts that are 10,000, 10,000, 20,000, 16,000. So you probably have at least 9% of we'll say 9% of your cap space tied up into dead money, which isn't horrible for the Giants. The Giants, we've had some horrible fucking situations. Why is Pat Leonard a fraud why is he a joke and a fraud? I used to like him, but he is a fraud. Why is he a fraud? What happened to Pat Leonard? According to Pat Leonard, OBJ will be signing with the Giants. He said he doesn't believe they'll do all the legwork out there to not to sign him. I always wonder about that because of the fact that I remember when Victor Cruz got cut by the Giants. Victor Cruz went to the Bears. Victor Cruz had a very pedestrian season on a bad Bears team. With no wide receivers. He came back to the Giants. Victor Cruz had a workout with the Giants. And they went through all the rigmarole for him, and they didn't sign him. I got a feeling. Well, I have to hope. Well, was Tate getting arrested tonight? How is he going 37? Who's getting arrested? Cardinal Tate did? Who got arrested? What happened to Carnell Tate? Did he get arrested? I wasn't paying attention. I haven't been paying attention to the news because I'm still upset about the Knicks. I'm going to say one thing about the freaking Knicks. I'm going to say one thing about the Knicks, and this is it. This is to Mike Brown. The entire fucking league knows you don't start Brunson, Hart, and Cat in the second and the fourth quarter. You sit them both down. You sit all three down at the beginning of both of those quarters. The whole fucking league knows it. This is the playoffs, Mike Brown. Fucking change it up. You put out a lineup for the first 6 minutes or 30 minutes in the fourth of people that have never played together in the entire season, and your thought process is, hey, I got an idea. Let me start Alvarado, Clarkson, Bridges, Anunoby, and Robinson, who played no time together, and you start in the first 3 minutes when you only have 9 fucking minutes left. I miss Tom. You know what? I miss playoff Tom Thibodeau. Playoff Tom Thibodeau runs those players off till the wheels fall off the fucking bus. And this is what you're supposed to do, because each game is a win now scenario. So figure it out, Mike Brown. Fuck you. Okay. So where were we? We were talking about OBJ. Sickest catch I ever see. OBJ got mature now. I hope he did, because he's going to be 34 in November. But I can't see. I look at the Giants roster. I look at the Giants, we'll say unofficial depth chart. I look at it. You have Malik Neighbors, Darius Slayton, Darnell Mooney, Isaiah Hodgins, Calvin Alston III, Gunnar Olszewski, and you have 6 guys. Gunnar and Calvin are going to play special teams and return kicks, which one you keep. You're going to probably run out there with Malik Neighbors, Darius Slayton, and Darnell Mooney, which is not a bad. And don't forget, Isaiah likely plays a lot in the slot. So if OBJ comes in as my 4th wide receiver, he better play special teams, because we've learned from the venerable, dangerous David Sills. We always have the dangerous David Sills Award for the most overrated person in training camp. David Sills couldn't make the Giants because he couldn't play special teams. That was it. He came in vis-a-vis after injuries for other players, but he couldn't play special teams, which was the reason and the rationale, which was literally smart by the Dabes, that if you're my 4th wide receiver, you have to return kicks. You got to be a gunner. Back in the day, you had to be the wedge breaker. You would have to do other things. Oh, what other things what other things will OBJ do? And I think that's the question we need to think. That's the question that we need to come up with. James Stein said, if Joe Schoen, OBJ acts up, John will toss him really quick. You got to remember, he was with John Harbaugh in Tennessee the last season where he had somewhat of success. And I use that in air quotes, and that was in 23. He had 35 receptions in 14 games. But again, since 24, he's played in 9 games. So in the total of 34 games in 2 years, he's played 9. He got suspended. He got suspended the first half of the last season and didn't do anything else. So bringing in a guy for nostalgic purposes, whose last really good season with the Giants was 2016. Last time I checked, 2016, 2026. I'm gonna do some math. Carry the 4, add an 11. From 2016 to 2026, that's like 47 years or 10. So he hasn't had a competitive, brilliant season in New York in 10 years. This literally should not even be a conversation. This, to me, going into an extremely important draft, it is just craziness. Is just, you hear it and you're just like, it just doesn't matter. This is nonsense the Giants don't need after. And maybe, then I think this. I was thinking this, and I hope I'm totally wrong. And I guarantee I probably am totally wrong. Maybe they're just doing this to placate a segment of the fan base. You dump Dexter Lawrence, who was an underperformer for the last 2 seasons, doesn't really fit the position at 390 pounds that where you need him to play. You bring back a player with some nostalgia. Even if he doesn't make camp, it's a good story, and you get the focus away from moving on from Dexter Lawrence. Because if you bring him in for a veteran minimum, here we go. Mike Lee says, I'm fine with a one-day contract so he can retire Giant. Maybe a 1-year non-guaranteed league minimum, but I fear OBJ and Malik will be 2 peas in a pod, which could be bad. I have that fear as well. James Stein says, good morning, Tim. Hope all is well with your family. Everyone's good. Welcome to the week of smoke screens. We only got a couple more days, guys. I'm fucking excited as shit here. I cannot wait. We are having a draft party extravaganza. We're going to have guests. We're going to give away shit. If you miss it by going off to watch another channel, fuck you. We didn't watch you anyways. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that. I can think. I keep forgetting. Think things. Don't say things. My wife always says to me, you don't always have to say what you're thinking. There should be that little voice. Well, evidently, I have another little voice in my head, which is bigger than that reasonable, rational voice. And this other voice is like, my reasonable, rational voice is here. And my other voice is like up here. So they don't, there's no chance for this voice. I'm just joking. Of course, you can go watch other shows. You're dead to me. Mike Lee says, not so much. It's his time with the Rams and Ravens are good indications. Zach Attack says, good enough already. After the ACL tear in Cleveland, he's never been the same. Isn't OBJ 2014? It's OBJ 2026. OBJ has been in the league for 12 years, which is a lifetime in the NFL. Giant Twitter never stops. I'm with Mike Lee. I prefer a one-day contract and let him retire a Giant. Because one of the worst things you can ever see, and you watched it with the end of Lawrence Taylor. You watched it at the end of Lawrence Taylor's career. One of the worst things that you could ever see is a legend, is a Giant hero, is a guy that you can tell has nothing left in the tank, and he's puttering it out that last season. LT was, and like I said, I can say this because I watched LT from the moment he was drafted to his last snap. LT was a shadow of himself in that 1993 season. Yes, he played 16 games, started 15. He had three forced fumbles. It's amazing that people forget it. LT had 41 forced fumbles in 13 years. Only had 6 sacks. The season before, where he only played in 9 games, he only had 5 sacks. 91, he only had 7 and 14. It was hard to watch.
That's what she said.
It was hard to watch LT that last 7-8 games. And I kind of don't want to go down the same path with OBJ. Cue in the intro music, get the party started. Hey, what's up, AJ? How fancy meeting you guys here. Who else brought the snacks? Big Greg says OBJ just to be buried on the bench. To be honest, if he's, I like I said, if OBJ, I could be totally wrong. OBJ could have so much at 34 in November. He could have so much left in the fucking tank. I don't know. I love it. Stu says the best. Let's bring back Akeem Nicks. But I hearken back to Victor Cruz. Victor Cruz, after he got left from the Giants, he goes over to the Bears. Bears have no wide receivers in that season. Victor Cruz was going to be the guy. Victor Cruz was going to be the man. Yeah, Victor Cruz was nothing. Victor Cruz, we couldn't even play. I mean, it was sad to watch. And then he tried to come back in 18. I mean, I just don't want to see it. Tim's doing his hair. Relax, people. I was doing my hair. Oh, I'm way behind the chat. Mr. Perry says, we live. Return of OBJ. Curtis Circus Line. Phil says, it's a good morning. Dex is gone. And we have the 5 and the number 10 pick. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the 5th and the 10th pick because I keep thinking about this and I keep going through this rationale in my head. Because there's so many different directions that we can go. It's not even funny. And I keep thinking, is there a possibility that we trade down from 5? We're going to talk about that in a minute. Good morning, Tim. Tim came here to deliver, as always. Steven says, if the Giants draft a wide receiver, I don't see him making the team. I guess we will see. That's the other thing. Let's say these prognosticators are right. They go Tyson. I'm like Tyson. I'm a soldier at war. Let's say they go Tyson. Where does OBJ fit? He doesn't. That's what I'm thinking. If you make this move, you don't make it till after. You don't make it till after the draft. It just makes more sense. I still think Lemon's a better prospect than Tate or Tyson. Lemon would be my pick. If I was picking a wide receiver at 10 and he was available, I would take Lemon. Technically sound, like I said it before, to me. And I love it. People are like, well, he's on the smaller side. Really? Cardinal Tate is 6'2", 192 pounds. Lemon is 5'11", 192 pounds. So, yeah, you got a couple inches on them, but they're both the same weight. I think Lemon is built better. Hold on, we have breaking news, which we'll probably well, it's funny, guys. I have to admit, guys, when I started doing Giant YouTube, I laugh because I know people in the NFL still. Right now. Live. Hold on. We're working another guest here, guys. But I laugh because my phone is so weird now. Because it's weird in respect of all the it's weird because I have phone numbers and I talk to these people, which is really kind of psycho, for like a lot of 86 Giants. And I never thought doing that I would be in that perspective. And it's just gotten kind of insane, but I love it because it is what it is. Keyshawn the Bruce says more and more sources are coming out saying Joe Schoen didn't have that much to do with the trade. They said it was mostly John Harbaugh and the new lady they hired. That would be Dawn. I could see. I've already said Dawn is going to be the first female GM. I've already said that. Mock draft 2.6. Tate 5. Donnell 10th. I actually like Jimmy Holder. I have to give, that's a name that a lot of people don't associate with. That's not a, I don't know which pick you had him at because I didn't, I actually kind of think that he's going to be an unrestricted free agent, but you never know. Let's see here. According to Pat Leonard, Odell Beckham will sign with the Giants. Oh yeah, Pat Leonard. I don't like Pat Leonard anymore. OBJ, more mature. It's got to be. I don't like Pat Leonard. Pat Leonard has never been on the show. I see him on other people's shows. Doesn't come on my show. And then he does a show yesterday where someone sent me a clip and he said, and people are like, well, the first 3 minutes of the show is everything Tim said. And I laugh because I'm like, and I love it because the best part was a text message I got about this. And I'll read you the text message. I'm not going to tell you who it's from, but it cracks me up. Because they sent me the clip. And I love when my text message start out and says, I know you're not going to listen, but you should listen to the first 3 minutes. And Pat Leonard literally says everything that you've been saying. But I love the thought process. You're not going to listen. So if you know I'm not going to listen, then just fucking text me when I'm not going to listen to. Because I know I didn't listen to it. I'm busy doing my hair and planning a draft party. Listen, this is going to be an extravaganza, this draft party. We're going to have guests. We're going to have giveaways. We're going to give away some good shit. We're going to give away some more books. We're going to give away let's do Thursday at 11. Whoops. Hold on, I'm working. I'm working here. I'm walking here. Okay. Joe Ferry says it would be hilarious if Odell came back and balled like a 6'7", 6'7" yards. People shut the fuck up. I would shut the fuck up. Joe's on us. The question is OBJ currently better than the following? We actually played this game, Joe. Is he better than Neighbors? No. Is he better than Slayton? No. Is he better than Mooney? No. Is he better than Austin? I think that's a tie. I would say no. Bringing in number 5 that can't play at special teams offers nothing. Mike Lee says, I think Tyson talk is a smokescreen. You usually don't draft players Joe's goes to see. Well, then we're probably not going to draft anybody because he's going to see a lot of players. Mr. McClain, defense line plugger, and quick to react with violent hands. But where are you taking him? Where are you taking him? That's my question. What round are you gonna take him? Because I have to look it up on my list. I currently have him as the 9th ranked defensive tackle out of Missouri. One thing that I like about him, and I will say this, I probably have him at 8. I could even move him up a little higher. He's a big dude. He's a big guy. He's like 330 pounds. But unlike Dexter, who's almost 400 pounds, this kid, you can't tell. He's proportionally built. He's a big man who carries his weight well. He's 6'4", almost 330 pounds, which is what you want. You want that stocky defensive tackle. You want that stocky nose tackle. You want that guy that is trucking in the middle. You want a guy that locates himself, goes one-on-one against blockers, creates a wide base, an immovable object, hard to move, and a force in the run game. And one of the things I do like about him that I don't need sacks out of him. I don't need sacks out of Chris McLean. I don't need sacks. He's a bull rusher. He's a guy that attacks the middle of the field. He was over at Florida for 2 years. And you know, he had some success over in the SEC. Only problem is, if you look at him, he's, like I said, he's not going to be a pass rusher. And he's strictly a bull rusher. And this is, I'm not exaggerating on this. I'm not exaggerating on this. This guy is just a bull rusher. He either swims or he swats. If you watch the film, you can go back to Florida. Dude's got no other counters. He's got no other moves. He's like Bruce Leroy, who needs vanity to teach him some moves. That's literally what this guy is.
Am I the meanest?
Sure enough.
Am I the prettiest?
Sure enough.
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this time?
Sure enough.
But if you get him later, if you get him in the 6th round, I think he's probably going to project at 5. You get him in the 6th round, because we got multiple 6 rounds, or maybe you trade package 2 6s for a 5. And you use him as a 2-down guy, and you bring him in with Darius Alexander. I don't have a problem with that. I thought everyone genuflecting for Harbaugh, yet to think he's wrong on Odell. Yeah. Listen, if you sign Odell, I'm not questioning Big John. I'm not questioning my brother, because we all know I want to get adopted by the Harbaughs. So I am not questioning him. I'm not going to question Jim, because I don't want Jack and Jacqueline to get on my case, also known as mom and dad. I don't want that to fucking happen. He is like I said, he is a plugger. He is. If you look, and like I said, he's 6'4", 330 pounds. He doesn't look it. He's a big man. He's a big man, which is what you want. But like I said, if you're looking at him just as a run plugger and a 6th-round pick, I'm good. He's a bull rusher, but he's got a, it's like they always say fight or flight. He is swim or swat. I'm either going to use my swim move or I'm going to swat. That's what he does. 100%. Seriously, the NFL world does not know what we will know due to this. Nobody knows, and I think that's great. Keyshawn says, I'm not worried about Odell Beckham coming back because John Harbaugh's running the show. Well, John Harbaugh's had OBJ, so he knows OBJ. He likes OBJ. If there's a reason, if there is a reason that that John wants OBJ, there's a because there has to be a reason and a rationale why Big John wants him. Well, my brother wants him. Sorry, JMS, I've disowned you. I'm no longer your uncle. I am still trying to get adopted by the Harbaughs. Or I was trying to get adopted by Gary Myers, because when he was on, he literally said everything that I said. So I told you at one point in time, he's talking, I'm like, Dad? There's a reason and a rationale. I'm good. I like KC Concepcion. I don't know if he's any relation to the Concepcion that played for the Cincinnati Reds. I don't know. I don't know if there's any reason. I don't know if there's any relation to him, or besides the name just being KC Concepcion. First of all, I don't know if he still has it, and I'm not being racist, but I love the fro because he's 6 feet. He's 6'4" with the hair. A little slider build at 195. Little slider build. I like him, and I would like him in the Giants offense. And I would take him in the second round. KC Concepcion. He's got if you watch him play, and like I said, don't just watch the highlights, watch complete games. He's got a burst. He's got a jump. He's got a giddy up. He reminds me a little Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith, who I did want the Giants to get, but I also wanted to get Micah Parsons if he was not available. He has a burst. He has an acceleration that through the first 15 yards, he can create natural separation. Casey Concepcion, that is. And like Devon, and I always said the one thing I worried about Devontae Smith was the guy with a slider build. If he would use his speed and his quickness to help separate off the line of scrimmage. And I kind of thought that Jalen Hyatt was going to be that way, but boy, we were fucking wrong with that because he's still in the darkness. Sometimes you got to do that. And he's got deep speed. He's got legitimate deep speed. And like I said, in the Matt Nagy offense, this is what you need. He'll bring a physicality to the edge. And I find this interesting. He's a physical guy that when you look at his stature, you say, this isn't a guy that would probably be physical, but he is physical. He's also can return punts. He's a kick returner. Now, when you talk about Lemon, the first thing you talk about is his catch radius. KC Concepcion's only 6 feet. So you are going to have a smaller window with that compact build. You're going to have a smaller catch radius, which is fine. If you want to have a truly legitimate concern about KC Concepcion, dude has 19 drops and 186 career catches. Most of his drops come over the middle when absorbing contact in traffic. That's a problem. That should be your uno number one problem right now. How many likes we have? We had 100 likes. I see 100 and some people watching. We had 100 likes. 39. You people really don't like me. 39. You got 170 something people watching on different avenues. I got 111 watching. I'm here now. I got 39 likes. There should be 50. 100. There's something seriously wrong with me. Joe Ferry says, wow, Kate is getting arrested tonight. How is he going 30? Oh, is he getting arrested? No, Tate's not going 37. I misread that, Joe. I thought he did get arrested. What do we got here? Let's see. Joe Spano says, Holder, the Michigan kid, has very good tape, only 1 year as a starter, good development guy in round 5. When would it be more round 6, Joe? Because don't we have multiple 6-rounders? So Jared says, I mock Downs at 5, Lemon at 10. I don't have a problem with that. I've already said this. If Sonny Styles or Jeremiah Love are not there at 5, I have no problem going Downs, because if you really think Downs is the player that as a fourth tier defender, and your fourth tier defenders, which are your safeties, suck at times, Downs isn't a bad idea. Downs is not a terrible idea, but you still, if you're fixing one Downs, you're not going to put down. People keep saying, well, he's going to be more of an in the box guy. He's going to be more like a Kyle Hamilton was the last 10 games of the season. No, he's not. You want him as a center fielder. You want him patrolling, getting turnovers, causing havoc. I don't want him being like a Peppers or a Logan Ryan under Patrick Graham, where he's playing 78% of the snaps in the box. And like I said, I love Lemon. The only problem is I love lime in my rum and cokes. I love Lemon. Like I said, if you took Lemon at 10, I got no problem. Johnny Rico says, Tyson's injury history makes me say no. I'd rather build the trenches. That's the other thing. You could literally also go offensive lineman. Mr. Perry says, I'll believe it when I see it. Me too. Keyshawn Drew says, I won't be surprised if they draft Downs from the 10th pick to pick up more draft picks. I just keep thinking this, and I don't know why. Because I look at the draft. I look at the draft boards, and I look at where everyone's sitting. And there's a thought process in my mind that you trade down. That you go down, that you maybe instead of having, now I don't want to go below 16, but of course here's the thing: you have to find a team that's willing to trade with you. That's always the biggest issue. Is there a team between 16 and 1 or 16 and 5, which would be Kansas City, Tampa, Baltimore, the Rams, New Orleans, Miami, the Jets, the Cowboys, the Washington, Cleveland? Now, you're not trading with Washington. You're not trading with Dallas. You're not trading with the Jets. Does Miami want to get someone at 5 that could be a difference maker? I think Miami at 11 is in a good spot. You can grab the Miami product Baines. You can grab yourself a wide receiver. Does New Orleans trade out of 12? Do the Saints feel like they need someone like a Ty Simpson, which I don't think they would take that high, but does he come up the draft board? With the Baltimore connection, do the Giants swap 5 and 14? I don't think Tampa's moving, and I don't think Kansas City's moving, because I think Kansas City's still going to get an offensive lineman at 16. John Harbaugh says, I love Lemon at 10, Caleb Downs at 5. I don't mind that. Oz, what's up, Oz? I would trade down for both picks, 5 and 10, and get more picks. I don't want more picks in this draft. If I'm going to move in 27, then I'd get some picks, but I still need players in this draft. So I could potentially see them trading down from one of those picks. Joe Ferry says, John Harbaugh, after workouts, get him a job, just not with us. I saw film on Jordan Tyson from Pro Day. That knee won't hold up. And I don't know. Listen, there are guys who have had multiple injuries in college who would play a 10-year career in the NFL and never have a scratch. There are Ironmen in college, like Kajana Carter, that come into the NFL, blow their knee out in preseason, never the same. My head's spinning too. They call me Big Illy, Big Willie. Get your head spun. Everybody get your head spun. Okay, let's see. Mr. Perry says, Harbaugh said he wanted to stop the run and run the ball. Is there a swerve? I think it would be on offensive liner Love. I still think, and I know maybe it's not a smokescreen, but I do still think that the Giants could be could be, like we've said with LL, I need love. That could be a possibility of play. We're going to find this out in 2 days. Oz says Jordan Tyson is Mr. Glass. Pass on him. So you're saying he's Samuel L. Jackson? Hey-o. Joe Ferry says, well, if Tyson stays healthy, he can be an all-pro, so fuck it, risk reward. I agree with that, Joe, and I don't agree with that. Because I think Lemon is a high risk reward player at 10, and you don't have the injury factor. And to me, Lemon can have more capabilities to play in the slot, to play on the outside. Hell, I could put Lemon and do a Darren Sproles thing and put him in the backfield. Imagine if you will. I've been watching too many Twilight Zone episodes. Imagine if you will. Malik Neighbors, Darnell Mooney, Theo Johnson, Isaiah Likely, and you bring Lemon out of the backfield with Tyrone Tracy. Great balls of fire. You know what come on. Think about it. You will literally have the Philadelphia Eagles sitting there.
Tower, this is Ghost Rider requesting a flyby.
Negative, Ghost Rider. The pattern is full.
The pattern will be full. Mike Lee says, can't go downs at 5 if Styles is on the board. Level 2 over level 5. Oh, I agree with that. I'm saying if Sonny Styles isn't there. Listen, to me, Sonny Styles is not just the consensus pick. It's the right pick. Now, the Giants can go totally different direction. Like I said, I've given this season, I'll still complain and bitch because I'm a fan. But from a football perspective, I am giving Harbaugh, Dawn, Brandon Brown, giving them a pass. They're getting a hall pass. There still might be moves I might question. There still might be things that I might sit there and go, what the fuck are they thinking? And I will say those things. And I will bring those things up. But at this moment in time, they get a hall pass because they need to build their team. These guys need to come in here and build themselves their own team. They have to get the players that give them the best opportunity to win in the system that they have. So I'm not going to be upset about the draft unless it's something incredibly stupid. I'm just going to be like, okay, let's see what happens. I think the best combination picks, and I still telling you guys, I think Caleb Downs is going to be at 10. I think Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs at 5 and 10. And then you go get Lee Hunter in the second round, or you trade back up. It's the latter half in the first, but you really can't because of your salary cap implications, because of the fact that you picked up 5 and 10. You could still get a defensive tackle early in the second round. And you have 37 picks. So, you know, if you went, I think it should be Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, Lee Hunter. That to me makes the most sense. And listen, we've already talked about the fact that the Giants need corners. I think the Giants positionally right now, the way they're set up, they're going to need corners. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there are some defensive backs in this draft that I take a look at. And like I've said, one of the players that I really like, and we've talked about him before, and I do think you can get him potentially in the, I know some people have him projected as a late first round pick, but I can also see him falling in the second round, is a guy like Chris Johnson out of San Diego State. 6 feet, 193 pounds. I mean, he's a guy, like I said, I always laugh because it's just a weird conversation with people. He's got fluid hips that transition well, which means it allows him to run stride for stride. He can mirror wide receivers. Now, zone coverage is his bread and butter, but I see a man guy there. I see a true ball hawk. I see a man guy. I see a guy that is an athlete, runs a 4.4, 38-inch vertical leap, 6.9 on the broad jump. I see a guy that is a dependable tackler who doesn't miss. Last year, in 54 attempts tackling, he missed 3. That's what I like about this kid. He's disciplined at the line. He, like I said, I see a press cover corner. Now, the only thing is the Mountain West. We're not talking about the SEC. We're not talking the ACC. We're talking the Mountain West. I'm thinking I could come out of retirement and play a little on the Mountain West. I'm just throwing that out there. I think I could start at the Mountain West. OBJ is done. That's okay. It's sports. Pass on and give the young kid a chance if he wants another wide receiver. How many likes do we have? We have 53 likes. I'm going to hit this button. I'm going to hit this refresh button. Because in professionalism, that's what you do. Hit the refresh button and you sit there and see. We have 58 likes. I want it. How many did I want? I wanted 100. There's 112 people watching there. There's another 100 people watching over there. I want 100. I know I'm greedy. OBJ may end up as the first wide receiver if Neighbors is not ready to play. Well, if that was the case, then we are truly fucked. AJ Marshall says Odell is going to be Isaac on John Harbaugh's Love Boat. That's for all the old timers out there. What do we got here, Tim? Do you see OBJ catching a ball on 3rd and long or Slayton and Neighbors dropping it? I don't see OBJ. I don't see OBJ making all these catches. Listen, the guy is 34 in November. There needs to be some realism in reference to what OBJ is and what he was and what he's going to be now. We have to have a little bit of realism. The guy's played in 9 games out of 34. He's played in 28 and out of 64 going back to 2022. His last full season, it wasn't even a full season, was 2021. Oh, actually, no. He played it. No, he only played in 14 games. Yeah, so I will say 21. 14 games he played in. Yes, I was right. 21. This isn't a guy that's going to come in here and be this player. And I don't want to break the news to people. Last time he returned punts was in Cleveland, and he returned 1 for -6. The most snaps that he has played in the last since 6 years. He played in 70% of the snaps, which was only 316 in Cleveland. Before that, he was playing in 94, 95. Then he played 70, 69, 50, and 20. So where are we going to, Joe Spano, just talk to me about this. OBJ has not played in more than 50% of the snaps since 2021. The last 3 years, he's played in 30% of the snaps, 20% of the snaps. The last time he played 95% of the snaps was back in 2019.
So you want to know where he fits? He doesn't fit anywhere here.
He fits on the bench.
He's the number 5 wide receiver
who can't return
special teams.
And can't play special teams.
Right. And who's going to bring a number 5 wide receiver that can't play special teams? And he doesn't give you any intangibles. He's not a mentor. He's certainly not a mentor that you want to mentor. So he doesn't bring intangibles. Every once in a while, you bring in guys like this that are not really going to play much and don't really have value beyond the intangibles that don't factor in what he actually does on the field. You've made it abundantly clear for an entire hour that he is not that guy. So you bring him in for purely what he can do on the field. He's the 5th best wide receiver, can't get open anymore, has no explosiveness, doesn't play specials. To Jennifer's point, he has one thing left, and that's his hands. You throw it to him, he'll catch it. But he can't get open anymore. He's got no explosiveness left. There's nothing here. Nostalgia doesn't win football games, and nostalgia doesn't build programs. It's nice. I mean, you saw everybody getting nostalgic about Dexter Lawrence leaving. Smart people realize how good this move is. Dumb people and homers are getting all nostalgic and they're crying. And I know you don't want to release the video because you're probably a little embarrassed because of how tough you had to get. The video of you comforting a fellow Giant content creator. You know, I really thought you could have been tougher, but you did get the guy off the ledge.
See, that's what we do here. That's what we.
I mean, I don't know if you want to release it. I know how humble you are. You probably just want to keep it where it is, but I thought it was an amazing 20 seconds.
We're gonna keep that in the vault. Maybe we'll release it draft day because we're gonna try to do some special things on draft day.
Yes. So
don't mind me. I'm just taking vitamins.
No, take your vitamins. You got to stay young after the workout. But to kind of wrap up OBJ from my perspective, there's no added value here. Nostalgia's nice. As many people said, you want nostalgia, sign them one-day contract, let him retire a Giant. But for this roster and for 2026 and where this franchise is headed, 34-year-old OBJ has no value for me.
I have the same curtain rods.
Oh, do you?
In our front room. In one of our front rooms, we have this. We have the same certain. We have the front.
That confirms I have class then.
Because when you're Irish, everyone knows there's a room in the house when you're Irish that no one's allowed to sit in.
Mm-hmm.
It's the sitting room. So, you just have everything in there. It looks very nice. Maybe you go, when someone dies, you go in there, when maybe you have, I don't know, maybe you have a celebration, you go let someone sit in there, but we have the same curtain rod.
Many Italians have the same thing.
Yeah.
It's usually like the main level, the main floor living room.
Yeah.
And somebody has to die. There's no TV in it. Like a lot of people, there's nothing. There's a gorgeous couch. And anytime anybody sits on it, everybody cringes because it's like, you're not really supposed to.
You have your fancy Ethan Allen furniture in there that nobody's allowed to sit on. And then you have that one chair in the corner, which is like 70, 80, 90, 100 years old, that there's no ass prints in because you're just not allowed to fucking sit in it. A lot of people. Now, this was someone, and I lost stupid Giant Twitter post because when the soundboard crapped up. And I laugh at this because I don't see this, but I'm going to ask you this question.
Sure.
He was with John Harbaugh a couple of years back. A lot of people are saying that John Harbaugh, and I laugh at this, and I wish I had the button for the stupid Giant Twitter post. Some people are saying that Harbaugh wants to bring him in as a mentor.
Where has he ever shown that he brings that kind of intangible quality?
Well, never.
Jameis Winston, one of the reasons he's the backup quarterback for the Giants is because if you have to start him a couple of games, the season is not lost. And he's done a nice job of providing that mentorship quality to Jackson Dart. OBJ doesn't provide any of that. Right away they say, well, he played for Harbaugh a couple of years back. Well, I had girls I dated a couple of years back. They're not bringing me in for a reunion tour because I'm a good mentor. They don't want anything to do with me. They wrote it out, and that's it. We're done. It's done. Nostalgia doesn't win.
That's a good way to put it. Nostalgia doesn't give you W's. But I just thought the mentor thing was kind of weird because people are right. He's thrown his quarterback under the bus multiple occasions, multiple teams, not just with the Giants. He's complained about. He was happy to go to Cleveland because his running mate was from, they were LSU together. This was going to be the match made in heaven in Cleveland. Yeah, that didn't fucking work out. Turned out that both of them couldn't have the ball at once. So now for people to think that he can come to New York be 34 in November and be a mentor. I don't know. I saw that. I'm still trying to find stupid Giant Twitter posts, but I did lose it completely.
It's like hiring Jack Clark as your financial advisor. It doesn't really work.
It's literally, yeah. I mean, it's literally like saying I don't know. It literally just. I love it. Keyshawn says the OBJ is the least of the Giants' problems. If they were to bringing him in, because it's going to have to be a veteran minimum deal.
Yeah,
we've already shown the numbers. The Giants have $18 million available with the trade, with the dead cap number for Dexter Lawrence. If we take a look at the rookie draft pool, if everyone makes the team, the guaranteed money is going to be 16.5, which means that you need to have $16.5 million available in cap space. You don't need the 20 million because that's not guaranteed till after the rule of 51. So you need the 16.5 million. You got 18. You still want to bring in DJ Reader. There's other players and other things you want to move. There's still some things that we can do salary cap wise, but if you bring OBJ in at a veteran minimum, which is like 1.5 million, it makes sense. But how long, if you bring him in, Joe, do you think that he is even on this team or on this roster? Because this is a move that I can't see you making until technically after the draft.
It's going to be made after the draft. It has no financial impact because he's another minimum salary guy. So based on rule of 51, he's just another one of your minimum salary guys. He slots in for one of the others. We have plenty of those.
We got tons of them.
But as far as how long he's actually going to stay here, just ask everybody in Miami how long OBJ as a minimum contract guy stays. It's a few weeks. When he doesn't see targets, he whines. If you think it's going to be any different here because he played for Harbaugh a few years ago, it's not. A few years ago when he played for Harbaugh, it was because they had no wide receiver weapons and they needed to put him in the game and target him. We have enough weapons, and OBJ has diminished further that he is not going to play much and he's not going to be targeted, much like it was in Miami. And after about 6 games, he's going to whine and bitch and moan, and Harbs is just going to say, hey, man, you're one of my favorite people. I brought you in here. We thought it would be nice, and it ain't nice because you're a colossal PIA, and it's time to pack your shit and get going, man.
I love people. David Sills is still in the league. David Sills is 29 years old with a total of 31 receptions in 4 seasons, but he has technically been in the league since 2000, I believe 18. So
he gets an NFL pension. It's life-changing for him. Good for him.
But does he with terms of service? Because I don't think
I don't know. I'd have to go through all his contracts.
I was going to say because he's only played in 33 games, so I'm not sure with terms of service that he is
right because you got to do 4 seasons terms of service.
Yeah, so that would be So I don't think he's in line for an NFL pension. He's not Phillip Rivers, who had to come back because Phillip Rivers has 8 kids and his pension was running out.
Imagine
having literally running out that year.
Imagine having so many kids that as a multimillionaire, you got to come back to work just to get the medical benefits.
Listen, I give him credit because of the fact that he was like, listen, my pension's running out. I got 8 kids. Come back. I'm good for 7 more years.
Right. And I don't have to pay the $2,500 a month now in medical insurance out of my own pocket.
And I know people that have NFL pensions. The NFL pension's nothing to joke about.
No, it's not. It's for a guy like David Sills, it's life-changing. And in theory, he never has to work again.
No one's ever told me I look like Bill Clinton. Never got Bill Clinton. No. I've gotten other people, but never Big Bill. Let's see here. I saw there was another one. Yes, I was talking to Slider yesterday during the Knick game. Yeah, I'm not happy. Thank God the rum held out. So that was still good. I always said, my word, he is only 33 years old. 33 years old in the NFL is like being 62 in like the regular business world.
It's not like he sits behind a desk and
right.
pushes a pencil. I mean, he's got to go out and get into a whole bunch of collisions on a football field.
And he's going to be 34 November 2nd. Right. So he'll be 34 in the season. He's just, if you work in an office, he's that old guy in the corner that is 5 years away from or 3 years away from retirement that just doesn't want to be bothered. But he's going to try to do this on the football field.
Right.
In
the good old days, that guy used to bring 3 newspapers, and you didn't actually know what he did.
Exactly.
But he showed up with 3 newspapers every day, managed to read them all, and you had no idea why he was there and why the company was paying him, but he stayed quiet at everybody's way and got to the 5 years, got his
gold watch, and got out the door. I don't know why people believe in Slayton. I don't believe in Slayton. He's a glorified 4th. I've said that he's a glorified 4th wide receiver on a good team. But the problem is with Slayton is he's here.
And you can't cut him.
I can't cut him because I got a $14 million dead cap number and I only have $18 million in cap space. Or excuse me. I have $18 million left in cap space and I need $16 million from my rookie draft pool.
So you can't cut him. So he's here.
But I agree. He is a fourth wide receiver on a good team. When he came back and signed this contract, Slayton, I was like, why? Because you literally said, I want to go to a place that I can win. Well, it sounds like you took the money instead, Darius Slayton. So you know what? We get what we get, and we still don't get upset. Making plays for the Falcons. He had 18 receptions for 191 yards, 2 touchdowns in 17 games. That is
making a gold jacket. Hurry up.
I know. Let's run him.
Why are we still talking about Sills?
Because I go through the chat, man.
Yeah, no, I understand, but why is he so interesting?
Because he's because on this show we have an award.
Oh,
for the most overrated player in training camp, it is the Dangerous David Sills Award.
Okay.
So he's got his own award. Yes, damn 398. 398. Now, I have that on firsthand knowledge from the same person that told me that Cincinnati was trying to trade from him. So I believe the guy that told me. Oz says OBJ will bring in fans, fill up the seats because fans still love him. Giant games are already sold out.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's no reason. And Oz, I'm not making fun of you. There are only 8 to 9 home games. Teams don't make their money on season tickets. Teams make their money on merchandise, concessions, and a television deal. That's what they make their money on. Now, part of the concessions also, if it's done right, goes to the other team. There's a whole big mix of this. I learned that in Tampa. I didn't know that. But you're not making your billions on season tickets. You're making it off your merchandise deals, your local television network deal, whatever you have, and your deal with the NFL. The TV deal with the NFL.
As you well know, from having worked around the organization and around the league, the Giants are one of a small handful of teams that no matter how that team performs on the field and what they do,
they're going to be
their
money.
tickets are sold forever.
Yep. Well,
tickets are sold forever.
Not anymore. Back
True,
when
they burned through the waiting list.
There's no more waiting lists. You can get season tickets right now. And last year was the first year in Giant history single game tickets were available through the Giants.
That's unheard of, because before they put the new building up, the waiting list was about 20,000 people.
The waiting list,
the new building, they burned through the waiting list, correct?
They just turned off the waiting list. The waiting list was 65 years. Mm-hmm. People would will their spot in the waiting list to family members when they died.
Right.
And then once the new stadium came about, they terminated the waiting list. And because they had the PSLs.
Right.
So then all of us, as a season ticket holder since 76 in our family, I know this shit. So they terminated the waiting list and they went to the PSL situation. Then when you have to pay a personal seat license, then all of a sudden you're like, well, yeah, you pay this once, even though it's going to be like $5,000 a seat. Then you get to pay them. Then you get to pay me yearly.
Right.
Because I'm awesome. It's a little easier to fathom when you're actually winning.
It's a lot easier.
The last 10 years, it's been tough.
Yeah, it's tough, especially when as soon as the weather gets cold, half the building is fans of the other team. It's almost like going to a Los Angeles Charger game. There's more fans of the other team than there are of the Giants. It's pretty disturbing.
Zachariah Branch got arrested for standing on the sidewalk on campus in Athens.
I heard this was nothing serious, and it should affect his draft stock.
Okay, I was going to say, I did not know that. I want to talk shit. Fuck the picks. Well, we are talking shit. Tim, I don't need no stinking filter. I'm supposed to have a filter. I'm supposed to be filtered. Fuck that.
All right.
I don't care about that shit. But you know what I do care about? The Knicks losing. Because if I went on the mighty FanDuel.com, number one sports book in America, you know what happened to me? I got screwed because I gave up 5.5 points. And of course, everyone knows if you're a new customer to FanDuel, you bet $5, you get $250 back in bonus bets if you win. I know I'm supposed to talk about the statistics of the NFL and the things with the NFL and everything going on that, but I'm more interested in the Knicks. I do like checking daily, Joe, where the Giants stand in regards to winning the Super Bowl. They were at one point in time plus 25,000. Along with the Cleveland Browns, the Arizona Cardinals, the Jets, and the Miami Dolphins. They moved up after hardball making some moves. They went up to plus 15,000. Now, with trading Dexter, getting that 10th overall pick, we've said this before, the insanity makes me go fucking crazy. They're at plus 7,000 to make and win the Super Bowl. Of course, the top
pretty telling?
That's pretty telling. Also, the top teams are plus 700 for the Rams, plus 950 for the Saints. I've already said it. I'm making a wager. I'm taking my plus 7,000. I'm going to bet $150. The Giants win the Super Bowl. I win $10,500 when that happens, when they are the Super Bowl winner on February 14th, 2027. We also take a look at the Knicks. The Knicks right now, I don't even want to talk about the Knicks. The Knicks are a 1-point underdog. That's interesting. Can I do that? Can I add that parlay? Hold on, wait a minute. I'm going to take the Knicks. Can I add this parlay? Oh, I can add the parlay. Okay, what I'm doing is, okay. I'm going to do a two-leg parlay. I'm going to do a two-leg parlay. I'm taking the Knicks plus the point. I'm taking the Giants at plus 7,000 to go to the Super Bowl. I'm betting $150.
It's going to pay off in like a year.
That's $20,361 I win. Don't say that because 6-7 months ago, I did a 4-leg parlay. I've already won the first 3 legs. My last leg is the Boston Celtics winning the NBA championship. If I win, we've talked about this on the show. If I win, I am winning over $100,000.
Awesome. I mean, it's not uncommon to have to wait on a futures bet, which is what Giants to win the Super Bowl is. You usually just don't see them inside of a parlay. So it's a little unusual. Wait for your parlay, 6-7 months to pay off. It's just not that common.
You just go to them because I'm not common.
Oh, you're anything but common.
I'm anything but common because I go to the Mighty FanDuel. It's FanDuel.com, the number one sports book in America. It's just go there, download the app. All you people that are on Apple, you go to the App Store. All you weird people that are on an Android, I don't know what crazy demonic place you go to download apps, but you go there as well. Get yourself the Mighty FanDuel, FanDuel.com, the number one sports book in America. Smear campaign for Branch and Ruben Baines. I don't think there's a smear campaign for Branch or Ruben Baines. I think Ruben Baines, Joe, is a guy that is multiply talented, is a guy that I think can come in this league and be successful. Only problem I have with him, I think he's got a little Gregory Rousseau in him. Gregory Rousseau, who was over in Buffalo, Mr. 305. I don't know where he went. He went someplace else. I just think they're similar players. I think he's going to be a good player. I think Ruben Baines is going to be a high draft pick. I'm just not as gaga over him that a lot of people are. I don't know. I mean, I think positionally you're going to have to look at him, you're going to have to move him around positionally. I know a lot of people have him as the top ranked defensive lineman, but this guy is also 6'3", 260 pounds. I don't think he's going to be an anchor on the edge. I do like his first quick step. I like his punch. I like that he's kind of effortless getting into the ball carrier, going into the backfield. He's had big moments. They always tell you, and I always think of Justin Pugh, he's got 31-inch arms. You know what that means? He's got the little T-Rex arms. And for the Giants with Ruben Baines, that's a nice way to put it. His gap discipline would be non-existent. Some people say inconsistent. I say non-existent. And he has a missed tackle percentage for his entire career of over 20%. And I think, like we've talked about, the one defensive tackle, I don't think he's got much of a counter rush on his repartee in reference to being a pass rusher. I don't think there's much of a counter rush. Like I said, I think he can be an effective NFL player, but just not for the Giants at 5 or 10.
It doesn't fit well for the Giants. You can make that case. And, he's one of these guys, if you're picking him in the top 10, he's a high floor, low ceiling guy. And those guys are nice, but they don't get gold jackets very often.
Well, they don't. But to your point, I don't see Ruben. I think Ruben Baines fits a lot of other teams. 69 likes. Come on, guys. We have 170 something people over there, 111 over there. Can someone hit the button? It's the button that looks like this.
Well, I'll ask you this. You say he doesn't fit what the Giants are going to do on defense. You don't think he can be a souped up version?
No.
And again, I don't think you're picking him in the top 10. Look at what Jihad Ward did in Wilson's defense last year. You don't think he'd be a souped-up version of that? I'm not picking that in the top 10, but you don't think he'd be a souped-up version of that in this defense?
No.
Okay. I asked.
Where are you playing him? You can't play him on the edge because you got Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, and Abdul Carter. He's not athletic enough to be a linebacker. If I run my, we'll say my NASCAR package. If I run my NASCAR style package, I got no place for Ruben Baines, and he's a liability because, like I said, has for his career. Now, Abdul Carter's last season, which was the second season as an off-the-ball linebacker at Penn State, he had a 24.9% missed tackle percentage. That means almost 25% of the time, guys, he misses the tackle. And the missed tackle percentages is formulated off perceived tackles that you should make, like an easy tackle, like lead with your shoulder, square up, wrap around, drive with your legs that you should make. He had a 24.5%. It went down when he moved to the edge position, but Ruben Baines has a 20% missed tackle percentage for his career. And we already have a problem with gap integrity. This is a guy in Ruben Baines that I'm not saying he doesn't have any integrity because he might, but he doesn't have any gap integrity.
It's a fair answer. I posed the question. I'm not saying I'm drafting him with either of the Giants picks at 5 or 10. I don't necessarily think it's the best fit. I posed the question. He answered it very, very well.
I love this. Joe Ferry says, Lionel Manuel, number 86, one of my favorite players from the 86 teams, private workout, James Williams. Lionel Manuel, I love Lionel Manuel. A lot of people don't remember him, but outside of Ernest Gray at the wide receiver position, which Ernest Gray had his first and only 1,000 yard season, I think in '83. The next Giant to have 1,000 yard receiver was Lionel Manuel. Great player, underrated player. Him and Bobby Johnson coming in on that 86 team. Bobby Johnson, of course, also had the drug issues. There's a great story in a book somewhere about Bobby Johnson in a Super Bowl ring. So, I don't know. Maybe we should go read a book. I'm not going to say who and where, but maybe we should go read a book. Let's see here. Giant 2038 Giant fans. We should bring back OBJ. Yeah. What about Plaxico? What's Plax during? This is a good question because I talked about Juwan Jennings. I think Jahad Dotson has signed. If you want to go get a wide receiver and he's out of work, Juwan Jennings to me would be actually a great fit for the Giants. He's a knucklehead. He's 28 years old, but he is a guy he's a guy that can carry the team at times. He is a contested catch guy. He's got a little bit of a nasty streak in him. He can block. I like Juwan Jennings a lot outside the fact that he's a fucking knucklehead.
Now, earlier that young lady mentioned, who's going to, is OBJ going to catch it or is so-and-so going to drop it? Well, throw it to Jennings on 3rd down and 5. Throw him a 6-yard pass. He'll catch it, get you 1st down. And like you said, you want to run the football. You want your wide receivers to be a factor in the running game with their blocking. Juwan Jennings is that guy. He is a good fit for the Giants at the right price.
Juwan Jennings in 15 games had produced 36 first downs.
I mean, I don't think he's a star.
No,
by
I
any
don't
stretch.
think he's a star. And I do think he's priced himself out of the market. But Juwan Jennings, to me, outside of being a fucking knucklehead, because he is a knucklehead, is and if you want a knucklehead, I'd rather have a 28-year-old knucklehead to compare with the other knucklehead and Malik Neighbors. If I'm gonna have two knuckleheads, I'm gonna have two bananas in the bunch. I would rather have it be these two guys because
They produce.
They produce. And Juwan Jennings, like I said, there was talk about trading for Juwan Jennings last year. Glad the Giants didn't do it because they would have to have paid him. He's still out there as a free agent. This is a guy that is going to give you, give you 15 games, will give you 600-700 yards, give you, 5-6 touchdowns, will compete with first downs. He is a guy that we talked about the likes of Wan'Dale Robinson, whose yards per target, which means the number of yards down the field he gets before the target. Malik Neighbors was like 3.3. Juwan Jennings for his career is 7.8. So that means he catches the ball 7.8 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. So he's downfield. He's getting you downfield. And I think that's what you need. I think that's what you need, a guy. And I think he would be a good fit. I just don't think we can. I don't think slow. Yeah. But they said Jerry Rice was slow.
Yes.
They said Jerry Rice would never gain separation from anyone. I remember the Jerry Rice when his 40 time. I think he finally still crossed the line yesterday. I'm not sure how that worked out.
Worked out okay.
Tim's picking lemons. I do like lemons.
I heard he didn't exactly, and take this for what it's worth, I heard he didn't exactly kill the interview process. I'll just leave it at that. I've talked to quite a few people. He did not kill the interview process.
No, because there are so many people that did not kill the interview process.
Right.
There are so many people. I love the Deion Sanders story. Deion Sanders coming out of Florida State primetime before the draft. Back then, when George Young and everything else, the Giants had like a binder. And it was a binder of psychological questions you had to answer just to be considered.
That legendary test that nobody else gave.
Yeah. Just to be considered to be picked by the Giants. To be considered. They sent the binder to Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders looked at, and this, I love it because this is on tape. Deion Sanders looked at the binder, he said, I'm not doing this shit. I'm not going to be around when you're picking anyways. So for someone that, when you say he didn't do well in the interview process, there are a lot of players like Deion Sanders, a lot of players. I'm not saying that he's Deion Sanders. Of course, they positionally play different positions. I'm just saying there's a lot of guys in this league that failed the fucking interview or did not even participate that are Hall of Famers. So I never worry about it.
I just was curious. You worked in the league. I can tell you he didn't kill the interview process. There were also guys that did worse than him. And
there's also guys that have done brilliant in the interview process.
Yeah.
There's a quarterback who is considered one of the greatest busts in league history because of who the quarterback, who the other quarterback was, who actually had a pretty good interview process. Ryan Leaf.
Oops.
Imagine being like, you get okay, yeah, okay. Right.
This is not true. What's on the bottom of the screen?
What? Which one?
Styles is another Isaiah Simmons.
I was going to get to that question right now with Styles. No, Styles. First of all, Isaiah Simmons, when he came out, he did not. I think he went 13th overall. He did not have a defined position. Even internally himself, he didn't know what he wanted to play. Even when he came with the Giants, they were like, I want you at linebacker. Well, I'm more comfortable at safety. It's like, dude, we're trying to save your fucking career here. Go where I fucking tell you to go. Don't question me. Yes, Sonny Styles was a safety. Yes, Sonny Styles only has 2 years positionally at the linebacker position. But Sonny Styles is not a safety. Sonny Styles, at his size, his speed, his weight, and I've said this before, people are like, well, he's going to be this guy that can be multiple faceted positions. No, the only multiple facet position I want to have him is whether I'm going to put him on the inside or the outside of my linebacking core. And I'm going to move him around. But no, he's not even similar to they're not even They're not even one is no, they're not even close. I don't even know what to say about them. They're not even close.
Tim, you played this game and you played college football and there were 85 guys on your team.
Yep.
And there are a lot of guys who play football for a long time but don't know how to play football, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
Isaiah Simmons is a guy who did not know how to play football. He won because he was a better athlete than everybody else. That does not work by itself in the NFL. If you watch the film on Sonny Styles knows how to play football.
He's a football player.
Right. I think initially here, if he is the pick at number 5, he starts on the outside. He starts as the will backer next to Edmonds, and he can learn. Because having only played the position 2 years, I still think there's things that he needs to learn. If you watch
he's going to have to learn on the job.
Yeah, if you watch his tape, he can be fooled. He can be made to move this way and that way. And I think playing next to Edmonds, playing at the will, he'll learn on the job. Oh, and by the way, everybody that says, well, he was a safety, so he must be this great man cover guy that's going to do this. No, he's a spot zone coverage man.
Actually, he can play. I've talked to a bunch of people. They are saying that he could be a one-on-one cover guy. I
think he's more of a drop in the zone, spot zone coverage guy. I don't see the man coverage skills on tape.
I agree, but there are people that say that if you look at him, and again, I always talk about, because it's just weird to say, I always talk about the hip fluidity, that he has the ability to mirror and go in through transition. So like I said, I don't know if it's true, but I've talked to 2 other people in the league that said if you were to put him one-on-one with a tight end or a running back, I would not be overly concerned.
At the very least, in zone, which we're going to play a lot, are you very confident that with the safety instincts and everything else, that this is a guy in zone defense that covers players and not grass? If you know what I mean.
I don't know. Because honestly, until this team is rounded out and we have our first mandatory minis, I think we have a voluntary one. Don't we have a voluntary one today? Don't we have a voluntary camp today? I don't remember. I thought we had a voluntary camp on the 22nd. I don't remember. But until we get our roster and until we get into mandatory minis and we start looking and we get our mandatory rookie, mandatory mini camp, rookie mini camp, I'm not 100% sure yet where Darnell Wilson is going with this defense. And I keep telling people until I see the players he has, I can't tell if he's going to run the style he ran in Tennessee or if he's going to go in an entirely different direction. And we also know we have to figure this out, and that's what a lot of people don't understand this, and you get it, that when you're an offensive or defensive coordinator, you're under the umbrella of the head coach, and it's the head coach's vision of what he wants you to run is what you then run. So I don't know what John Harbaugh's already said. I want to stop the run. We've given up 4.7 yards on average the last 6 years here in New York. I want to stop the run. So
take it from there. No, you're absolutely right.
Do we do more of a Tampa 2? I don't know yet until we figure out, like I said, this draft is so weird that the Giants could literally go so many different directions. And I'll be like, okay.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm not going to cry for me, Argentina.
I agree with you wholeheartedly there. I think they're in a great spot at 5 to let things come to them and see how it breaks. And, I really don't think we're going to have a real idea of what they're going to do until they're on the clock, because we'll have seen what's unfolded in front of them. And I think that goes a long way in determining what's going to happen. There are certain things, the Jets are taking an edge.
Right.
I'm not sure which one, but they're taking an edge.
They're going Reese. I still think they're going Reese, and I still think Bailey's going to go to the Cardinals.
Okay, and that's fine. But again, I think in many ways the draft to some degree starts with Tennessee, And then it really picks up steam with the Giants based on what Tennessee and Arizona do, because Arizona has so many needs and their organization is so bad. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, Nathaniel Hackett is their offensive coordinator. Need I say more?
Hey, to my money guy, stop texting me about commodities. Commodities
We
are
don't
going
buy
to
commodities.
No, I got plenty of commodities. That's why he keeps texting me about commodities. That the gold's down $100 an ounce. That silver's down 3.5%. I'm fine.
You know when you get this text, what he wants, right? He wants to make
I
a
know
trade.
he does.
I need a commission, but let me reach out to Tim and make a trade. I was going
Because that's it. And what happens is a lot of times, especially we get towards the end of the month, people take a look at their commodities and say, shit, I made money. I'm going to sell, which then short term drops the price. Gold's going to be around 7,000 an ounce probably in 2 years. So a lot of my gold I got around like $1,300 an ounce. So I mean,
it's called taking profit, and then you see regular people are freaking out. Oh my God, everything went down.
Yeah,
like, well, you cashing it all in tomorrow?
Yeah,
and they're like, no. I said, well, don't worry about it. It'll go back up again.
To your point, he's got to relax. he's got to fucking relax.
Everybody gets.
He's blowing me up and emailing me. I'm like, dude. Fucking relax. It's okay, brother. I got it. I could take a loss on some money because, I'm on the mighty belief. I could take a loss a little bit here.
His kid needs braces. He says, I'll call Tim.
Let me call Tim so I can make some money off of this. Caleb Banks, defense tackle, best option at 37. The metatarsal injury worries the bejesus out of me because I always think of Greg Oden, the basketball player. That always comes to mind.
You know what worries me about this guy? Another guy don't know how to play football. He's
kind of another knucklehead, but he is a true. You always talk about guys in the draft that are true boomer bust players. That's this kid written all over him. He's a boomer bust guy. I can't see him at 37 though.
You got to go round 3, and you might hit a grand slam home run, and then if he washes out, well, it was a round 3 pick. That's the way it goes.
But like I said, if in this draft, there's always the boomer bust guy. This is him because his first step defies expectations. If you watch him play, for a guy his sheer size. At 6'6", 330 pounds, that first step, it looks like someone that should be 6'3", 230. Lightning quick is not the word for this guy.
Well, I agree. He's strong.
He's got the thing that Scout says, natural power with heavy hands. He fucking locks on, even though it's not really technically holding if you're under the tits. You lock the fuck on. This is a guy that is not going to be moved at the point of attack. He will collapse the pocket, straight bull rusher, double teams, not looking at you, Dex Lawrence, because you're somewhere in Cincinnati. Double teams did not bother him in college. But there's always a but. There's the foot injury, the reoccurring foot injury. And his tackling technique is probably going to illuminate and frustrate whomever is coaching him. May not be the Giants. To Joe Spano's point, not a football player, athlete, pure athlete, but in reference to tackling, his technique is, I'm not going to say non-existent because you never say non-existent, but non-existent.
At 87 instead of 37, how do you feel?
Oh, at 87, yeah.
Yeah, 87, late round 3.
Oh yeah, I'm back in. If we had a third, I'm back. I'm back in. I'm back. Yeah. If I had a third and I'm there. Yes, I would take him with the third rounder.
I'll give you something to think about.
But I can't take the guy at 37 because the foot injury alone scares the bejesus out of me.
You don't like what you got at 10, and you decide to trade down. Everybody has them trading down a few spots, but you want to get there. You could have the school of thought, let's get the interior defensive lineman for the ages. What about trading down to like 25, assuming you can find a partner? McDonald at 25 because of my belief, initially, he's a two-down guy and the best two-down guy in this draft. But if you watch the tape, there may be more there. They used him as a looper and stunter. There may be more there by year 3 where he's a true three-down interior guy and a truly elite player, and you might be able to get him at 27.
I don't think Caden McDonald's going to be there at 27.
You don't.
I don't think he's going to be there at 27. I know a lot of people have Peter Woods going ahead of him. If you're looking for a true defensive tackle, looking for a true nose tackle type player, if you're looking for a guy that's going to anchor the middle of your line, I think you're looking at Caden McDonald. I think Peter Woods is going to be more of that quasi pass rusher from the interior, but I don't see Caden McDonald making it down that far in the draft.
How far can I go, Tim?
Now you can make a look at the fucking draft board.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Let me look at whom is picking whom or where at 10. I think personally, it's funny. There, I look at the Baltimore Ravens, and I look at what the Ravens do defensively. Caden McDonald at 14 makes sense to me to the Ravens. I take a look at the Chargers. I know Khalil Mack's still on another 1-year deal. I know they lost the other guy to free agency. I see him potentially even going 22 to the Chargers. And honestly, you need to fix the interior of the line in both Chicago and Buffalo. That's 25 and 26.
Okay.
And then I think he's over Peter Woods.
Okay.
And I think he's a genuine nose tackle
with 3-down potential going forward. Unlike a lot of these 2-down run pluggers, this is a guy that really does have 3-down potential. Unlike some of the other guys you like you like the kid out of Texas Tech a lot.
Yeah.
Lee Hunter.
Yeah.
He's got a bad body. He's got a bad look. I hear he's dropping. I hear that's another guy you may be able to get with some early round 3 capital. We don't have a 3. That can all change.
My theory is this with Lee Hunter. If Lee Hunter is there at 37, I know, and there are certain players that drop for no reasons. There are certain players that all of a sudden just kind of fall off the board. And Lee Hunter to me could be that type of guy. But if you're not going to get Caden McDonald, you're not going to get Peter Woods. Lee Hunter at 6'4", 318 pounds is not the ideal guy, but he's also got a 6'9" wingspan. He is truly built to be an interior clogger. He is a true interior gap guy. And if you take a look at him, and you got to kind of go back to UCF, University of Central Florida, because we got alums in the house from there. If you watch his run tape, he is consistent at stopping the run. And over 2 seasons with limited play, he has 58 run stops over 2 seasons. He is a guy that has, like I said, we talked about some people that don't know how to play football. To me, he knows how to play football. He's got like I said, he is 3 years of meaningful production across 51 games. He is a guy that generates a real pocket presence. He's a force in reference to gap integrity. And like I said, while he may only be a 2-down guy because he doesn't have much more than a bull rush, I need that to pair alongside Darius Alexander.
You're okay with that at 37. You're a guy who will keep a guy on his board, a strictly 2-down guy that early.
Yeah. Only because of the fact that I don't need him to be a 3-down guy.
Right.
Because I have Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau. Brian Burns, Darius Alexander, and I'm hopefully going to bring in Sonny Styles at 5. So I have 5 pass rushers. I need a guy that's going to maintain his assignment, and I don't need him on third down. Unless, of course, it's an obvious run on third down. Then yes, I need him on third down. But I'm okay with that because I'm building a roster, and I think you can teach him I think you could teach him in regards to equating a little bit more of his pass rushing prowess. Not that I ever think he's going to be a 10-sack guy, but if he's a 4 to 5-sack guy in that middle and he stops to run, I'm gold, Pony Boy.
Okay, so if you think that that's there and that's somewhere within him and that your coaching can unlock that possibly, it's hard for me to argue with that at 37. I'm not sure that's there, and strictly 2-down guys, I don't like to touch them before round 3 because they're basically going to be off the field about a third of the time.
Well, the problem is you don't have him. You don't have a third rounder, and he's not going to be on the 4th round.
Also fair, but again, I have enough draft capital. I can manipulate the draft, and I can get to 3. I've got 105. I can take 105 and one of my 6s. I can get into the 3rd if I want to get Lee Hunter bad enough.
I love this. Bring back OBJ. He still has the juice. At 34 years, no. And I love it. Lemon has the juice. There's lemon juice. Listen, I
juice, baby.
I think Lemon, and it was Tommy Two Socks, and Tommy Two Socks talked about this, about him salivating about the thought about putting Lemon in the backfield. I keep seeing Lemon, like I said, Lemon did play a large portion at USA in the slot. And I always go back to the movie Can't Hardly Wait, where, Jennifer Love Hewitt's the beautiful girl and she's dating a football player, and then they break up, and the one girl comes up to her and goes, "How could you break up with this guy? He is the hottest guy in high school." And she looks at her and said, "Yeah, and high school's over." Same thing with college. What he did and what you did in college no longer equates to what you're going to do in the pros. So if Lemon is predominantly played in the slot at times at USA, does not mean that's what he's going to do here. That's why I said with Lemon, I could do a Darren Sproles. I could put him out of the backfield, and then I could still have Darnell Mooney. I can still have Malik Neighbors. I could put then Isaiah Likely in the slot, and I could throw Theo Johnson over a tight end.
Do you think Lemon can play Z?
I do think he can.
There you go.
I do think he can.
I think we should point out to people, and because I think a lot of people don't realize, part of what you draft a guy for, part of this is projection. A lot of it is what you've already seen. A lot of it is projecting what you've already seen, plus the traits and the physical gifts and the measurements and what it will mean going forward. As you said, just because USC played him in the slot doesn't mean he doesn't have the tools to be a Z, which is a move outside guy. Keep him off press off him to a great degree, and you go back to a Sonny Styles. When you compare, say, Sonny Styles and Caleb Downs, right? There's not much projection in Caleb Downs. There's not much more growth. You know what Caleb Downs can do. He's a fair athlete for the position. His measurables as far as his size are not great. He's a guy who was great as a freshman in college and was great as a junior. There's not like massive growth. I think you kind of know what you're getting with Caleb Downs. You've seen it. You don't have to project a lot. With Sonny Styles, because of only 2 years at the position, and if you go watch the tape from week 1 of this year to the playoffs, you've seen that growth. There's a lot more projection there because there's a lot more growth with Sonny Styles, which makes the upside higher.
The only thing I got to say about Caleb Downs is I disagree with that, because people thought the same thing with Kyle Hamilton. And I'm not comparing them as both the same player, but I'm comparing them because both have the head coach that is currently with the Giants. Kyle Hamilton, when he came out of school, I already said Giants. I did not want to touch Kyle Hamilton. I thought Kyle Hamilton, to your point, had a ceiling, had a limit, had a This is what he is going to excel at in the NFL. This is what he's going to be. And his first 3 seasons, he kind of had a renaissance in 24, but in the first 2 seasons, he only had 62 tackles. He only had 81 tackles, and then he had 107. But when he had the 107 and 24, yeah, he made the Pro Bowl, played in 17 games, only had 1 interception, did not have an interception at all last year. But when they moved him closer to the line of scrimmage last year, it's almost like something clicked. There was almost like, hey, you know what? I can still be that free roaming safety that had 4 interceptions in 23, but I can also be a factor and a force in the box. And I'm not discounting the fact that you can't do something similar with Caleb Downs. I think they found a niche for Kyle Hamilton positionally to go along with what he does well, which to me increased his value to the Baltimore defense last year.
Okay. It's just, I guess what I'll say is there's less projection with Caleb Downs than there is with Sonny Styles.
Yes. But I do think there's more of a ceiling for Caleb Downs, and some people are, listen, I don't like Caleb Downs at 5. Everybody knows that. Because I don't like to buck traditional NFL wisdom that you don't take a safety in the top 5. And like I said, the last 50 years, 5 picks, 250 picks, 4 have gone in the top 5, 2 pedestrian. 1 guy should be in the Hall of Fame. The other guy, Eric Berry, injuries and his medical conditions kind of pushed him off the side. But I still can't. And I know Carl Banks did a thing about it on one of his shows, but I can't.
You feel much better at 10, don't you?
I feel better at 10. And I still think that he's going to be around 10.
I'm hearing there's we both have something in common. We talk to people.
Right.
And I talked to a guy who I trust who's talked to 4 NFL GMs. 3 of them said he's definitely going to be around at 10. 1 said maybe. Take it for what it's worth.
I've heard, it was funny. You know where I heard him going for the longest time from people in the league?
Dallas.
I heard no.
No?
I heard him going 10.
Cincinnati.
That's why I made a bet with Joe Ferries. and said he's not gonna go any higher than 10 because I kept hearing from people that Cincinnati is what you call it. I do Sims is my quarterback. I don't know what we're talking about. I like it's funny. I actually just talked to the venerable Matt Sims today. So Matt Sims, who's been on the show 3 times now, is so graciously going to be coming on again after the draft. He's too big time now with his radio, being on ESPN, doing radio and stuff and everything else. Too big time for me, but I have to give him credit. He reached out to me. So, Matt Sim, I love Matt Sim, scholar and a gentleman. We always have great conversations, him and I. So I'm very curious to see what happens after the draft when he comes on, because I do value his opinion, not just in the quarterback realm, but he does come from a lineage of a football family.
And you'll be amused at his perspective on the Dexter Lawrence trade.
I'm always I wanted to talk to him about that now, but no, I'm not going to talk about that. Williams says, like Carl Banks says, if he's a willing tackler, you can fix that. Yes, you have to be. It's will. That's what you have to do. With willingness is what you have to do. So let's say Tommy Two Socks says, I like signing Jennings. We just don't have the cap space. Trying to run through this real quick, guys. We're only at 86 likes. We still have 174 people watching. Can we get up at least to 100? There's still 103 now on this side. So can we at least get up to 100? Can we get 14 more likes?
Give it to Timmy.
Come on, give me 14 more likes. I got 1 extra like now, because give me 13 more likes. I'm not going to sit there and beg for likes, because you know what? If you don't beg for likes, and you people don't like me. And I do this to be loved. If Love or Styles still available at 5, who you going with? I'm going Sonny Styles.
I think I would too. I wouldn't be upset if they went the other way, but I definitely go Sonny Styles.
I go Sonny Styles. 5.3 yards per carry, and we just traded our best defensive lineman. Think about, hold on.
Do this again?
Hold on. No, but our name 188, I want you to, and I do have to leave in a couple minutes, and I do want to talk to you after the show, Joe, so don't fucking leave.
No, I got the message from the last
the message now. I want you, our name 188, I want you to think about what you just typed. I want you to think about this for a second. 5.3 yards per carry, and we trade our best defensive lineman.
In all capital letters, no less.
Yes.
So he's very hostile.
He's very not passionate. We're gonna call him passionate.
All right.
Who was? And I'm gonna play a little trivia. Don't answer, Joe. Who was the starting defensive tackle for the New York Giants last year when they gave a 5.3 yards a carry? No. Going back to 2022 when the Giants gave up 5.7 yards per carry.
I got my hand. I'm not.
You said, who was the starting defensive tackle? Over since 2022 going to last year, the Giants gave up on average those seasons 4.7 yards a carry. Who was the defensive tackle?
All those yards when he was off the field.
There we go. That makes more sense now. Our name, you gotta think about it for a second. Think about what you're typing. And I keep telling people, we've had players since 2002 come in, we've had players go out. What is the one constant that we have had in reference to the New York Football Giants on defense since 2019? You can answer now, Joe.
It's Dexter Lawrence.
But don't worry. I've already said it before. I think you could put me at the defensive tackle position. Now I'm 6'1", 225 pounds right now. I'm going to get down to about 190. I think I could give up 5.3 yards a carry without even trying.
I mean, a 400-pound speed bump couldn't get in the way. You're only half that size. I don't know how good a job you'll do.
I just.
But you know, what I
love it because he's still typing things. 3-4 defense without a nose tackle. Have you ever heard of DJ Reader? Have you ever heard of drafting a guy? And listen, you have a guy that's 6'4", 390 pounds who can't stop the run.
If he just stood there, he'd block somebody. He blocks the sun for Christ's sake.
I was going to say he should stop blocking the sun and try fucking tackling some. But I'm not talking about that guy anymore. We don't need to worry about that. Let's see.
Put up some pass rush graphics to support how important he is to the run defense. I've seen that all over the place. He's a great run defender. They put up all his pass rush stats. I'm like, okay.
Okay, here we go. This was last year. Total yards allowed, 31st. Total points allowed, 30th. Rushing yards allowed, 32nd, 147. But don't worry, we're upset that we traded the guy that played all 17 games. Oh my God.
The arguments are preposterous. I've listened to him all over the place, and I'm like, go on.
I do like Harris in the 4th round. Harris at Ole Miss. I do like him a lot out of the 4th. We've talked about Harris multiple times. I actually think you could potentially get him in the 5th. I think there are guys like Tim Keenan, that guy Gil Howard, what's his name, McClellan, Darnell Jackson. I think there's guys above him. I think he is more of not a low end, but he's a guy that's 6'7". Like I said, he's another plugger. His run defense the last 2 seasons has gained exponentially, and I think I like him because of his versatility. He could be a 0 tech guy. He could be a 3 tech guy. He could be a 5 tech guy. You could put him in multiple positions. And he's also blocked 6 kicks for his career. And he's another power guy. But the problem is when you got a guy that tall in the middle of the field, it's kind of an invitation for the pads to go a little high.
It's an issue.
It's kind of an issue on the double team. And he's another guy that his tackling technique is suspect, and he's also a knucklehead. He's been arrested twice. DUI. He's got a DUI and a felony fleeing and a domestic violence charge in 24.
I hear his off the field issues are serious enough that he's completely off of some teams' boards. So this may be a guy you get as late as one of our 6-round picks.
I was thinking
you don't know where he's going to end up.
I was thinking 6th round. I was truly thinking 6th round.
That's a steal.
I love this. I love this guy. I gotta go, but I love this guy. How many snaps and played 70 games, but how many snaps? Would you be shocked to hear he played in 754 snaps for 70% of the defensive snaps? Would you be shocked?
Me? No. Because I already know that's what he did.
And to your point, Joe, our name 188 is sitting there going, you know what happened in the other 30% of the snaps? All this shit happened then.
Exactly. They ran for 9 yards a carry in the 30% of the snaps that he wasn't on the field, and somehow they ran for 2 yards a carry in the 70% that he was.
I like this. I like the 3-4 defense. I do like that. I do like Darius Alexander. I do like Plum. I do like linebacker. I don't like Abdul Carter linebacker. I don't like Burns a linebacker, but I like Edmonds and Jacob Rodriguez. And you throw in Micah McFadden. Oh my God, Emrod, I love you, brother, but you know what?
Nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Hold on, Joe. We're wonking someone and putting someone in timeout. Shut the fuck up.
Oh.
So you've been wonked. Wonked means you are banned for comments today. You can come back and be stupid, but when we drop the wonka, Joe, you got wonked. I don't want to fucking hear it. I'm done with him. So he's been officially on. All right, it's 106. I really do have to get out of here. I actually got some emails I got to go through. I have show related emails I have to go through.
Wow,
which I think is funny. So we have to wait and see because I just got one from someone I really want to talk to. So this is Tim. This is Joe Spano with the Spano Spot. We got tomorrow is Wednesday, so we'll have a live stream on Wednesday. So make sure you're hitting the like button. We're going to talk about the draft a little bit more ad nauseum. Then Thursday's the big day. Oh, we're at 99 likes. If we get to 100 likes,
we're not giving anything away.
No, we're not giving anything away today. I'm out of money.
If we're taking a loss, he's going to stop doing this, guys.
If I'm taking a loss on commodities, I can't give shit away because I pay for all the stuff we give away. But we'll have a big show on Wednesday. I don't know what the topic's going to be yet, but make sure you stay tuned for that because we're going to have shows all this entire week. We're going to have 2 shows. We're going to have a 2 for 2 on
2 in the box.
Ready to go.
We be fast and they be slow.
We're going to have a 2 for 2 on Thursday and Friday. We're going to have an 11 o'clock show, and then we're going to have our draft stream. So make sure you stay tuned for that. We're going to have, we may potentially have a guest on, we're not going to say whom, but with Joe, we may potentially have a guest on Thursday.
It looks like it's locked and loaded. I'll cement some details with you after we leave.
We may have a guest. We may have a guest, a good guest. A guest, if this happens, I'm actually very excited about this guest because I got a lot of questions. I always.
Some of them aren't even related to football.
No, I'm going to keep it in the football realm because I'm not going to get into that. But I got a lot of questions. I got a lot of questions about his playing days because I got some questions. But but we're not going to talk about that. I actually have an email right now that I'm truly excited about because a request has gone out to someone else. And this isn't coming from me. This is coming from the network. So I'm very excited to see what happens. But this is the first time they've ever resent this request to somebody. So I'm very excited to see what it comes back. So we're going to have that. And we're going to have a bunch of guests coming on after the draft. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But as always, this is Tim. This is New York Giants Straight Talk brought to you by the Mighty FanDuel. That's FanDuel.com, #1 sportsbook in America. Catch the rebroadcast on the Bleem here with Joe Spano signing off from the Spano Spot. See you mañana at 11. And we're out of here.
That motherfucker must have lost his goddamn mind.